Omoyele Sowore just exposed the entire rigging operation. Not speculation, not allegations without evidence, but detailed breakdown of how Nyesom Wike rigged the February 21st FCT elections, from bribing candidates to step down, to blocking city movements with soldiers, to ensuring INEC delayed electronic transmission until results could be manipulated. The presidential candidate and publisher of Sahara Reporters didn't hold back. Wike blocked movements of persons which he had no right to do. The city was blocked by soldiers as if there was war going on. He had already bribed a lot of people, including some candidates of political parties, to step down for his own party. He was using resources of the Federal Capital Territory to engage in manipulation of the election, and this was seen transparently by everyone. This is not PDP complaining, not ADC alleging. This is Sowore, a man who has spent decades exposing Nigerian corruption, who went to DSS detention for activism, who cannot be dismissed as partisan, laying out exactly how Wike executed the perfect rigging plan. And he's not stopping at Wike. He's calling out INEC. INEC failed. The new INEC chairman failed in his first assignment, which was supposed to be the transmission of election results electronically from the polling units to IREV portal. Permanent record preventing manipulation. And INEC failed, not accidentally, deliberately. Sowore gives specific timeline. They transmitted later in the evening because I was refreshing the IREV. I don't think any results were transmitted until 7 p.m. and the election had effectively ended by 4 p.m. across the city. This is Okeigbo Vlog, the only truth YouTube channel that uncovers what Nigerian politicians hide from you. And what Sowore just exposed is the complete corruption infrastructure that delivered APC victory on February 21st. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me break down Sowore's expose before we watch his full statement. Let me start with Sowore's most devastating revelation, the bribery of candidates. He had already bribed a lot of people, including some candidates of political parties, to step down for his own party. He was using resources of the Federal Capital Territory to engage in manipulation of the election, and this was seen transparently by everyone. This is corruption at the candidate level. Before voting even started, Wike was buying off opposition candidates, paying them to withdraw, reducing competition, making APC victories easier. Think about what this means. Some people who registered as candidates, who went through primaries, who their parties nominated, Wike paid them to step down, not convincing them ideologically, not forming alliances, bribing them with Federal Capital Territory resources. And Sowore calls it what it is. The most absurd thing, Wike was acting as a member of two political parties at the same time. Wike is PDP member, but he's bribing candidates to help APC, using Federal Capital Territory resources that belong to all Nigerians, to manipulate elections for a party he doesn't officially belong to. This is the corruption ADC documented, the high-powered money politics PDP mentioned, the bribery that made resistance impossible before voting started. Now, let me address Sowore's exposure of the military blockade, because this explains why turnout was so low. He blocked movements of persons which he had no right to do. A lot of people couldn't move from one place to another. The city was blocked by soldiers as if there was war going on. Sowore didn't just hear about it, he experienced it. I drove around Abuja and found out that this was done deliberately to forestall participation of a lot of people. This is the curfew we documented, 8 p.m. Friday to 6 a.m. Saturday. But Sowore is saying it was more than curfew. The entire city was blocked. Soldiers everywhere, movement restricted, creating warlike atmosphere. That was scaring people from the electoral process. Not just preventing movement, scaring people, making citizens afraid to participate, turning election day into military operation where voting becomes dangerous. And Sowore is saying he had no right to do this. FCT minister cannot deploy soldiers to block city movements, cannot create military atmosphere for civilian elections, but he did it anyway, and nobody stopped him. Now, let me show you Sowore's expose on INEC, because this confirms everything we documented about electronic transmission failure. INEC failed. The new INEC chairman failed in his first assignment, which was supposed to be the transmission of election results electronically from the polling units to IREV portal. permanent record preventing manipulation. And INEC failed, not accidentally, deliberately. Sowore gives specific timeline. They transmitted later in the evening because I was refreshing the iRev. I don't think any results were transmitted until 7 p.m. and the election had effectively ended by 4 p.m. across the city.
This is what Senate President Akpabio predicted. It will still drop even with network. And Sowore confirms it dropped for 3 hours, long enough to rig. Now let me address Sowore's most important warning about 2027 because this connects to everything Aisha Yesufu said. This will help those people who are overconfident about even election transmission of results, that election by themselves cannot kick these people out of power. Sowore is saying, electronic transmission alone won't save you. Section 60.3 allows manual results when transmission fails, and INEC can make transmission fail whenever they want, like they did February 21st. So, believing that electronic transmission protects democracy is naive, because the people controlling the system can disable it, can delay it, can manipulate it, and then claim technical failure as excuse. This is the warning. 2027 won't be won just by showing up to vote. It requires protecting the entire process, stopping bribery before voting, preventing military blockades during voting, and ensuring transmission actually works after voting. Now, let me connect all of Sowore's exposures to create the complete picture of how Wike rigged FCT. The perfect plan. Phase 1. Before election. Bribe opposition candidates to step down, reduce competition, use FCT resources to pay people off, make APC path easier. Phase 2. Election day. Deploy soldiers to block city, create war-like atmosphere, scare people from voting, suppress turnout through intimidation. Phase 3. During voting, Wike tours polling units personally, show everyone the minister is watching, remind officials who has power, create environment of fear. Phase 4. After voting, INEC delays electronic transmission for 3 hours, manual results prepared during delay, manipulation happens, then transmission begins showing already rigged numbers. Phase 5. Result announcement. APC wins 5 of 6 councils. Wike's February 14th promise fulfilled. I will ensure they don't win becomes reality. This is the perfect plan Sowore exposed. Every phase designed, every element executed. Bribery plus military intimidation plus personal presence plus INEC complicity equals guaranteed outcome. Now I have the full video of Sowore's statement. You need to hear him say this himself. Listen to his tone. Hear the details. Understand this is not conspiracy theory. This is investigative journalist with sources explaining exactly how corruption worked.
A lot of what then became the conduct of the election had been pre-planned by Wike, who blocked movements of persons, which he had no right to do. A lot of people couldn't move from one place to the other. The city was blocked by soldiers, as if there was war going on inside of Abuja. Because I drove around Abuja and found out that that was done deliberately to forestall participation of a lot of people. That was